Welcome to Danny Nguyen Business Forum Show. The topic today is how to get a loan from a bank with the most favorable terms. Whether you want to buy a shopping center, a building, or a piece of land, or an investment property. Today, we are very excited to introduce to you two special guests who will be sharing their experience with you about the steps, or more importantly, the do and don'ts of how to get a loan. And today we have Mr. James Wong and Ms. Karen Nguyen from Honey Bank. Thank you so much for being with us today on the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for inviting us.
Certainly my pleasure. Would you like to say something to the audience a little bit before we start?
James, go ahead.
Hi, my name is James. James Wong with Honey Bank. I'm the first vice president, senior relationship manager.
Right.
Basically, just a fancy terms. Basically, it means you are the loan officer. Basically, that's the loan officer.
Right.
That's what we do. I focus on commercial lending. That include warehouses, apartment complex,
Right.
hotels, and retail centers.
And you have been in the bank industry for 22 years.
That is correct.
More than 2 decades.
That's pretty much fit for my age. So yeah, I've been there in the industry for that long. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. And how about you, Karen?
Hi, this is Karen. I been in the banking industry for 16 years, and Honey Bank is 2 years. And most likely, I'm managing the credit group, which means that we're going to look at the loans closely, what we need, and how to, approve the loan.
You would determine or have the last say in whether the loan should be approved.
I will be the last one to say, should we move on with this one and present it to the credit manager in California for approval.
Great,
Yes.
great. Well, today we're going to talk about different type of commercial real estate loans. So very quickly, what type of products are you giving financing to?
Right now, we are pretty aggressive in warehouses, hotels, and a lot in apartment complex and retail centers.
Okay, why warehouse?
Warehouse is just when we have a client need, they have a proposal, we'll do it. Warehouses, most of the warehouses are owner-occupied, and owner-occupied products are very desirable in our industry.
Okay. So it has to do with the increased volume of the import and export and international business activities in the city, and the warehouse needs to go with it.
That too, that part too, yes.
Okay, great. How about shopping centers? As a matter of fact, in our previous show, we did talk to our audience about the advantages and disadvantages of buying a shopping center. So I thought this is very relevant or appropriate to talk about shopping center, if you will. So tell me, what does one need to do when he or she come to you with a product, a shopping center, and what are the steps?
We typically will ask for loan application. They sign the loan app saying that they want to apply for a loan, and that's the first steps. And then we're going to ask for financial information on those principal, whoever the owner, their personal financial, and their tax returns. And the most important part is the information about the center, the product itself.
Right.
If this is a shopping center, we would like to look at the rent roll, the lease agreements, and most of the time, when they present a package, what we call OM, offering memorandum, that will include a lot of information. The tenant information, the rent roll itself will tell you a lot of information. Who are the tenants, what occupancy, and how long the tenant has been there, things like in that nature. So that package itself will give us a lot of information.
Right. So financial is a very important aspect. Usually shopping center performance is measured by cap rate. So what is the most standard or acceptable cap rate right now for a shopping center?
There is no specific say about the cap rate. It depends on the location and how desirable the tenant style there is. If you have a tenant, if you have a Starbucks, if you have a Subway, you have Dunkin' Donuts, if that's something center, that's a very desirable center, and most likely the cap rate will be very low. So it depends on the tenant style and the location. If you're in a Galleria location, most likely the cap rate will be different than most part of the Houston. So it varies. It depends on the location and the tenant styles.
Right. So you said the cap rate is important, but also the quality of the tenant is also so important.
That's correct.
Let's say for a vacant shopping centers and for a shopping center with fully leased. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Vacant shopping center, for certain investor, they feel like this is maybe it's a desirable. Because feel like apparently the price might be low. They feel like this is a good time to challenge, but they might also need to look at is that a reason why it's vacant? Because you don't want to take over the property, and next thing you know, there's a waste compound, there's an environmental issue in the property that it's not desirable. So that could be a reason why it's vacant. But I know the price is a lot cheaper than the normal price. But as from our perspective, we would like to see property fully occupied, 90%, 100% occupied, and that means it's a stable property.
Right.
Stable property translates to stable income, and that is the repayment source of the loan. So we want to see the stable income.
Well, a vacant shopping center could be due to several factors. It could be poorly management.
It could be.
It could be poorly leased.
It could be a variety of matters.
Different factors, but I mean, do you take that into considerations? I mean, let's say somebody who have experience and he or she buying a vacant piece of shopping centers, but with his talents and background, he can renovate the building and restructure the terms of the lease and aggressive in marketing. I mean, will you take that into considerations in terms of?
We look at that. You can jump me anytime. Feel free to jump me anytime.
We have a few cases like that, where the guarantor need to be very strong in cash liquidity.
Yes.
And it's just for shortfall. What if the center is not working out? So he had some cash in the bank to pay. Let's say the construction or remodeling for 6 months or so. We need kind of reserve for that. It depends on the guarantor. It's like very strong. Then I think, is a vacant. Then is more chances to get the bank to get approved.
Okay, so the less the cash flow of the shopping centers, the more cash flow that an applicant must have in order to compensate for that.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what about a shopping center that had a very healthy stream of income that could easily carry the monthly mortgage payment? What would be the down payment for that case?
That is actually a very desirable scenario. The bank want to see the cash flowing property. The down payment is all varies. It all depends. I mean, the more down payment, the more likable it will get approved. Of course, the less down payment, I mean, they will look at more risk to the bank on our end. So it all depends on how much they can. The more they can afford, the better it will be. It will help the approving process.
But in general, what would be your down payment? What percentage of the total loan?
We look at different package individually as a unique package.
Sure.
And certain people may have less down payment, but if financially they're strong, liquidity, have a lot of cash, it might be able to bypass. We might be able to put it together and justify that.
Right.
Other than that, they have to make more down payment, I would say.
Well, I'm talking about average. I understand. I mean, each situation is different.
Right.
But on the average, let's say if someone come and ask me, Danny, what would be the average down payment for a shopping center? What would you say, about 20%, 30% down payment?
I would say 30-35% will be a good range. I think that will be a very good ballpark to start with. We look at different, sometimes they may have less down payment, and they have other property very income producing. They have a lot of cash liquidity. That they're okay too. We can mitigate that as long as you have justification, mitigation. I think we can consider that package as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Among all of those requirements, Karen, if you advise a friend who come to a loan, what are some of the highlights or important points that you would advise that person so that she will have the most favorable with the bank?
I think for a person, if that person want to buy a shopping center, and that person need to have a down payment cash source ready, they need to fill out their personal financial statement, make sure that you say how much you have in the bank, that how much you're going to pay down. Some people have a mistake, they report less on the financial, and then the down payment kind of more. So that will be a questionnaire. You don't have enough cash. Fill out your personal financial statement completely, your real estate, all the real estate that you own, or your monthly payments, that kind. So we can do a global cash flow on the personal and the business. So as long as they meet all the requirements, then it should not be a problem.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. What do you think about the shopping centers market right now? Is it a good time to buy, a good time to sell? Of course, and it's a personal opinion. Nobody can predict the market.
Right. It's our personal opinion. We've been talking to many investor brokers.
Yes.
They all feel like there are so many people waiting in line wanting to buy property. The buyers are all lined out. It's just a matter of finding the right property at the right price. So
what is the right property? What is the right price?
It's hard to tell. For some people, they want to buy a property with less occupancy.
Yes.
But
of course, there'll be more risk and more profit.
Right.
Yes.
So you have to find a justification, a fine line. What is your niche? Can you manage a distressed property? Can you manage a less occupied property? If you are confident about doing that, then you should move forward then.
Right. So it has to do pretty much with personal preference. And talent and skills and risk tolerance.
Experience is what is the key. If the person didn't have experience to buy a retail center, they have to hire a management company to take care. That would be additional to the expense. And if they don't have experience, they can have a third party to manage that a plus too.
Right.
So the bank is looking at different perspective.
Yeah. Adding to your comment, if someone with less experience and they want to buy a shopping center with only 30% occupied, that will be a big challenge to him and to the bank to approve the loan as well. So first of all,
unless he has a very good marketing strategies and
Right. For that kind of investor, I would encourage them to go ahead and look for a property with high occupancy, something less to worry about.
Right.
Yeah. So that is just my personal take.
Right. I understand. And are you guys very busy with loans right now at your bank?
Oh, we are very busy with loans. We have many proposals coming into the table.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How long has your bank been in business? When talk about Han Mi Bank, give me a little bit about background of your bank. Very quickly,
You want to guess?
I can get some started. Our headquarters is in California.
Yeah.
And the bank it's been how many years?
The bank has started in 1982 in Los Angeles, in the Korean Chinatown.
Yes.
And they started growing. They go public back in 1999, I believe.
Right.
So and they took over. They bought this bank in Texas. Used to call United Central Bank. So now it's part of the family. So it's all called Han Mi Bank.
Right. So they've been around.
They've been around for many.
A long time. It just head into the Texas market in 2014.
Okay, that's great. And with all the things going on right now, new president, new vision, new policy, where do you think the interest rate is heading? Up, down, remaining the same? Again, personal opinion.
Everybody be talking about, and we all believe that it's going to be on the upward trend. It's just a matter of how often, how quickly, how much.
Right.
And we all patiently waiting to see what's going to happen. But one thing we all know for sure, our new president is very favorable to the bankers, which make our job a little bit easier, and which in turn make our job easier when we communicate the service to our customer. So that is more like a win-win situation for us.
Yeah, I don't want to go into the politics side of it, but I think that's the way it should be. Government should not be over-regulating bank and make it so difficult so that you guys have to focus on being compliant with the laws and rules and regulation. Sometimes it just pass on the cost and headaches to the consumer. Is that right?
Yeah,
that's a good thing.
Yeah, we still do things according in compliance as well.
Yes,
it just maybe it will be less paperwork, but we still do things according to the compliance issue, according to our policy.
I'm not talking about somebody had to be regulated in order, quote unquote, to behave.
That's right.
I'm talking about the reasonable.
That's correct. Reasonable is a good term.
Rules and regulations. Well, so you have several loan programs for different products.
Correct.
And you briefly talk about shopping centers. And it's easy nowadays with the information age. If people need to find you, they can go online to find you. But overall, if there is some final thought, what would you say when a person comes to the bank and apply for a bank loan for shopping centers? I mean, what are the things that you like to do and don'ts? And more importantly, what are the most common mistakes that you see applicants make that should be avoided?
Most people will feel like when they apply for a loan, they give you, like a shopping center, for instance, they give you their list information. They feel like this is all you needed. And we ask for personal financial statement, we ask for personal tax return. They feel like, why should I give you the information? You look at the information, you tell me whether it's doable or not doable.
Right.
So those are the common mistakes. We want to see the overall picture.
Yeah.
We don't only want to look at the property itself, we want to look at your personal financial and the tax return. Sometimes we get pieces of information. When we just get the pieces of information, we don't have the complete picture. It's hard for us to make a determination or justification.
Right.
Maybe you
I think if it's, if they want to have like speed up, because they have that line to meet. So I think the good thing is if to ask the seller to provide rent roll, lease agreement, everything in at one time.
Yeah.
So I mean, if they're more cautious, they can ask for tax return.
Right.
I mean, business interim financial statement is just like a simple form. If they want to be firm, that more confidence, they can verify with the tax return. So that way they know what's the tenant paying.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of.
Right.
Yeah.
Or maybe the estoppel.
Yeah.
I mean, something like
Estoppel
that.
certificate.
Yeah.
Those can be followed up later on, but the main thing is the rent law and lease agreement, the financial information.
Right.
And
I've been in commercial real estate for 21 years.
Wow.
And we are in a pretty much related industry. We have the same client. So I think the most common mistakes or weaknesses in the Asian communities is lacking of documents.
That's so.
Exactly.
I mean, sometimes that they are so focused on working and make the dollars, but the lack of the financial statements, the profit and loss statements. And in a case like that, if you believe that this is good business practice, but for any reason they're lacking of supporting document, I mean, how do you overcome that? I mean, are they still qualified for missing a tax return or one piece or a couple of pieces of document?
Well, if just missing one piece or couple of documents, I think we just have to find another way to justify it, to mitigate that. But whatever the numbers, what the ultimate things we look at the number, whatever the reported number, whatever the number on the document is what we go by.
Right.
We can bypass it, but to answer your question, if this is only missing one or two documents, we can find other ways to mitigate it.
Right. Well, that's how you come into the pictures. I mean, I think like anything else, there's a lot of anything, a lot of brokers, a lot of bankers, a lot of anything. But the personal service and assistance really make a difference. So I really appreciate you for your willingness to come in and share your experience with our audience. And hope I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
And before we leave the air, is there anything else that you'd like to say to our audience before we leave?
Well, if you have any proposal, any plans that you want to buy property, just bring on and let us take a look, and we'll be more than happy to take a look for you.
Thank you, James. James, with 22 years of banking experience, and Karen.
If you need the need of speaking in Vietnamese, I'm here to speak in Vietnamese at Harmony Bank.
Say something in Vietnamese, Karen.
Tôi
Karen biết nói tiếng Việt không?
Dạ, tôi biết nói tiếng Việt. Nếu mà ai muốn mua retail center mà không có hiểu hay là cần request thì đem tới Harmony Bank. Karen sẽ chỉ dẫn cho cách điền đơn and do the application.
And that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
You just watched Danny Nguyen, the Business Forum, and we just covered the topic of how to obtain a commercial loan with a bank. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.